Welcome. Today we're planning to talk about planning your shop 2025 online marketing strategy. I know this is November of 2024, but we're coming into that season to start planning for 2025. And my goal is to help you take away ideas, strategy that you can implement at your shop to help you hit your 2025 goals. So first of all, I'm just going to review a little bit of the plan for our session. Step number one is to set some clear growth goals for your shop. My idea behind that is it's really hard to know where you want to go if you don't know where you are. And obviously, if you don't have goals for your shop, it's really hard to have a very good marketing strategy for 2025. And then we're going to look at just a kind of a high level overview of online marketing for your shop. And then we're going to dive into really some tactical things that you can do yourself or somebody, one of your staff members, or hire an agency to do for you. And then to wrap it up, look at what are you going to focus on first to help you reach your 2025 goals. So go here again, if you have any questions, feel free. I'd like to have this as interactive as possible. I know we've got a small group here today, so feel free with your questions. Either unmute yourself or just ask them in the chat. A little bit about myself. So I'm Daniel Burkholder, if you didn't know that. And I grew up in the auto body industry. My dad started an auto body shop back in the 80s. So I grew up playing and working around it, managed the family shop from 2013 to 2021. My oldest brother currently owns it. And it's a small shop and we ran it lean. So I, as the manager, got to wear a lot of hats. CSR, estimator, shop manager, parts manager, a floor sweeper, and a lot of things in between. I did a lot of different jobs in the shop, really enjoyed my time there. In 2021, I chose to move on and got into sales and marketing. And then in 2023, I decided to go full-time on helping collision repair shops with their online marketing. So kind of combining my knowledge of the collision repair industry and bringing in partnerships for the online marketing to help independent shops dominate online. So that was just a little bit of a backstory on me. Now let's dive into actually planning your shop's 2025 online marketing strategy. So step number one is set clear goals. The reason you want to have clear goals is it's like wind in your sails. I don't know what your goals are. Your goals are something that get you up early. They maybe keep you up late. They keep you working hard, even when times are tough. Now, how does this tie together with your online marketing? I guess the question is where are you at right now with your online marketing? Does it help you reach your 2025 goals? And I'd like to dig a little bit deeper into that. So if you are a shop owner, what I'd like you to do is just take a little bit of time here and review these points that I have. First of all, I'd like you to think about what's your average monthly revenue? Are you at 50K per month? Are you at 400K per month? Are you at $1 million per month? What's your average monthly revenue in 2024? And then what's your average ROs completed per month? So is it 10, 15, 20, 30, 40? I imagine most shop owners would know that off the top of your heads. And then here are some other key metrics that you might want to jot down is what's your average severity per repair? So are you at 4,000? Are you at 5,000? Maybe you're at 2,500 and you like to drive that number up. Maybe you're at 8,000. Another good one to consider when you're looking at your online marketing strategy is what percentage of your work is DRP driven versus what I call independent. So if you are a DRP with State Farm, Geico, and some other big, large insurance carriers, if 90% of your work is coming in from them, that is definitely going to affect your marketing strategy for 2025. Now, if you are a shop that is entirely independent, no DRPs, all your work is coming in from either word of mouth, online, your own marketing, you're again going to play a key part in building your 2025 online marketing strategy. And then another thing that might want to consider is the number of technicians. And do you have the amount of technicians you need to fuel that growth? Do you have the space to fuel that growth? So that's your current snapshot. Now let's move on to what would you like to do in 2025? So let's say you were at, and I see I've got annual revenue on there. Let's say you were at in 2024, we're not done yet, but let's say you're projected to hit 2 million. Would you like to hit 2.5 million in 2025? Or would you like to hit 3? I don't know what kind of growth you'd like to see. Or maybe you want to look at it as a monthly revenue growth. Maybe you're at 100K per month and you would like to be able to hit 150K per month. What is your goal for 2025 as far as your revenue? And then the other one that is important to consider is your car count or your number of ROs per month. If you're at 50, you want to push that up to 60, whatever it might be. What's your long-term vision for 2025? And then just a fun question to consider. And I know this is not necessarily very, I don't know if this feeds into your online marketing strategy real strongly, but I think it's good for us to consider as business owners is why do we want to do this? What are our goals in wanting to hit these in 2025? I think that will help us to get a clear vision and will help to be that wind in our sails if we understand our why behind these goals. I know I'm probably getting a little psychological here and off our subject as far as online marketing goes, but I think it is a key to running a good strategy. All right, so we looked at where you were, where do you want to go in 2025? Now, tying this together with what we want to talk about today, does your online marketing support those goals? And you might be thinking, I have no idea. Well, hopefully by the end of this here today, you'll have a little better idea of what that looks like. So that takes us right into the second part, a high-level overview of online marketing. So I'm going to jump right into the nitty-gritty of this. What should be your budget for your online marketing, for your marketing period? Let's just say online or marketing period. Here I've done a little bit of math. So let's say you as a shop owner, you want to add another 100,000 per month in revenue. So if you're at 200 and you want to add another 100,000, you probably won't do that on January if you're doing 200 in December. But let's say you want to ramp that up, and by maybe fourth quarter, beginning of fourth quarter, you want to be hitting a 300,000 month in revenue, or by the end of 2025. Your average severity, your average RO is $8,000. So that's each car completed is an average of $8,000 repair. So that means that you need 13 new repair orders per month to hit your targeted revenue growth. Taking it a step further, your closing rate for your CSRs is at a 50% closing rate. That is fairly low, but I'm using some fairly easy numbers here for figuring. What would be ideal is if you would walk through this for your own shop. Anyways, let's say it's at 50% for estimate to repair order. So that means you need 26 new leads, 26 new estimates written per month to hit that 13 new repair orders per month to hit your $100,000 month revenue growth. I hope I'm making sense. I think it's fairly simple math. We just step it back from whatever our monthly growth is, we step it back through. So what's our average repair order worth? That tells us how many repair orders we need. Then we go and we look, okay, what's our average closing rate? We see that. And then that gives us how many more leads do we need to be generating per month to hit that. So I think this is very key to understanding how much, it's a starting point of understanding how much money do we need to start spending to generate this growth. Now, here is a fairly rule of thumb, and there's a lot of things to take into consideration with this, but I think it's interesting. Across the United States, there's a recommended marketing budget as an average percentage of your revenue. 5% to maintain market share, 6 to 15% for moderate growth, 15+% aggressive growth. Now, I know to the collision repair industry and to shop owners as a whole, these numbers are staggering because historically, very few collision repair centers, auto body shops have spent a lot of money on their marketing. But let me throw this out there. How about, let's say you are part of a DRP arrangement with a with an insurance carrier. What kind of discounts are you giving them? Could you potentially look at those as, welcome, Casey. I see you muted yourself. I was just getting ready to do that.
Hey,
Sorry, Casey. Welcome here. We are just right in the middle of this. I'm sorry, you might have to watch a replay for this all to make sense to you, but basically what we were talking about is budgeting for a 2025 marketing strategy. So anyways, what I was saying was potentially look at your DRP arrangements. Those discounts that you're giving are in essence part of your marketing budget. All right, let's carry on to the next section. So another part of having a good strategy for your marketing is your tracking. Now, this here again can be challenging, and it's going to take some effort on your part, whether you're going to put some manpower after asking the right questions to your customers, or if you want to try to be collecting that information digitally. But where are your leads coming from? Are they coming from your website, your Google Business Profile, your pay-per-click campaign, your social media, your ERPs, referral, word of mouth? This kind of information helps you to build a much, much better strategy. So I know it's difficult to ask these questions. It's difficult to get this information and to track it, but it is definitely, if you are serious about building a strong marketing strategy, you want to start collecting this information because this helps you to start determining where your leads coming from, where is your money best spent pursuing those leads. And then you can start determining how much are these leads costing my shop and how much can I pay for each of these leads. Now, why are we specifically talking about online marketing? Well, I guess we're talking about it because that is what we do here at Body Shop Marketing is online marketing for Collision Shop. What is the goal of all this activity online, all this online marketing? Well, ultimately, there could be a number of different reasons that you have for your shop, and probably none of them are wrong, but here's a few that I thought of. It's to bring in more leads, because ultimately you need leads to turn into customers. Maybe it's to maintain market share. Maybe Caliber Collision is coming into town, maybe Classic Collision, maybe Joe Hudson, I don't know. Maybe there's a consolidator that you know is coming to town and you are going to have to be much more aggressive about maintaining your market share. Maybe you want to grow your annual revenue. Maybe you just want to beat the competition and that's your main goal. Maybe you want to prepare for the future. Maybe you're looking to sell your shop and you want to consolidate and really get a strong platform to do that. And maybe you want to drop your DRPs. Maybe you're switching up your business model at your shop and you're looking for some avenues to bring in more leads other than your DRPs. So that's a few reasons why you might be would consider online marketing. Here's another one. And This is basically around the search market out there, why you want to get in front of people at the right time. So as the little graphic shows here on the slide is, and I'm sure you and I are, all of us here on this call are well aware of this. You have the paid search results, you've got the Google Maps, and you have the local organic listings. If you are not showing up here, you are losing a lot of business. Even if you are a DRP shop, you're still losing some business by not being here. So this is another reason that you want to get aggressive with your online marketing, is to make sure you are getting in front of the right people at the right time. Because remember, collision repair shops, we're a service industry. People don't just decide one day, oh, I've got an extra $1,500 in my pocket, I want to go find a collision shop that sends them to go purchase a product. No, we're selling a service that basically is a need-based service. So you want to show up when people are searching for you. All right, that's a really high level online marketing overview. Now we're going to get into like really tactical stuff, and I'm probably going to bore you. I hope there's something you can take away from these little tips I'm going to give you, because they really are valuable. And these are things that if anybody has a little bit of skill, they can do them themselves. They can pay somebody on their staff to do them, or if they have no interest, they can hire an agency to do them. So first of all, we're going to look at website. Secondly, Google Business Profile. Third, Facebook. Fourth, Yelp. 5, CarWise, and 6, Google pay-per-click campaign. And here again, I'm going to try to give you things that are actionable. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds as to all the technicalities. All right, let's jump into website tip number 1. This is looking at search engine optimization. If you don't know what search engine optimization, and here's a really simple way of thinking about it. It's when you jump on your phone or on your desktop and you search on Google for, let's say, restaurants near me. And there's some restaurants that show up number 1, some that show up number 10. Search engine optimization is getting your business to rank higher. Preferably you want to be number 1, because statistically, position number 1 gets 39.8% of the click. So you really want to be that number 1 in your area, and hopefully 5-10 miles around your shop. All right, so on-page SEO, you want to be thinking about things like having service pages, telling people exactly what you do, telling Google exactly what you do. You want to talk about your main service areas. So let's say you're in a rural area and you only have 5,000 people in your town, but over here you have a 10,000 population town, and over here you have a large farming community. You want to be able to send those signals to people that we serve those areas, send signals to Google, we serve those areas. You want to optimize your titles, your headers, your URLs, all of these little things for the keywords that you want to be ranking for. And the 2 topical silos that we see here in the collision and auto body is collision repair and auto body repair. And of course, it varies geographically what people are searching, but those are the 2 kind of main topical silos that people are searching. And of course, you want to have unique content on all your pages, because if you don't, and if you are here and you have a website, be sure to go check this out. If you have duplicate content on your website from page to page, Google is going to be de-ranking your website because of that. So you want to definitely check that. Tip number 2 is check your website's performance. I've got a little QR code here that you can scan. It takes you to a free tool. It's not my tool. I think it's Google actually, I think, hosts this tool. You can just scan that, punch in your website's URL, and it'll give you some really cool information about how your website's performing. And here I'm focusing on the performance. I'm not focusing on the SEO and all that good stuff. Basically, that's telling us how quickly is it loading for people that land on our website. Another really important thing, because people tend to bounce off your website if it takes too long to load. And also, behind the scenes, Google is ranking you lower if your website is performing slowly, because they obviously want to give a good experience to all the people that search on Google. So there's a kind of two-pronged. We have the bounce rate of people just bouncing off because it's taking forever to load, and also Google is holding you back from ranking because of the website performance. Tip number 3, this is around building website authority and also link building, which ties right in with website authority. So be sure to get your business, your shop, listed on as many local business directories as you can, and even broader across the country. Another great way is to be creating blog content covering auto body collision repair topics and posting that on your website. You're creating content for Google to crawl, and hence they know how to rank you better for the different keywords. And here's a do not thing to do. Don't go buy cheap backlinks. It's not going to help your website. It's actually going to be a hindrance. Tip number 4 is set up the Google Analytics, Google Search Console. Both of these are free tools that Google provides for you to track how your website's doing. How many people are searching? How many impressions are you getting? How many clicks are you getting? So set those tools up for your shop and start tracking them and seeing what's going on. Here's another one, is to set up a call tracking phone number on your website. That somehow you can start tracking how many phone calls you're getting through from your website. I don't know of any free services that you can get that from. Basically, any marketing agency will be able to set you up with a call tracking phone number on your website. Now, here is some information that I'd like to just run across briefly to emphasize the importance of your website. So as you can see, we've got a graph here in front of us. I'm focusing on the one where I've got the red arrow pointing to it. This is information that WhiteSpark collected. Now, Google doesn't tell us these things because they really don't want us to know. This is basically what people in the online marketing industry, many people much smarter than I am, have come up with. These are ranking factors. So 36% of on-page signals coming from your website affects your local organic ranking. We got the purple, which is 26% link signals that's coming from your website as well. 9% is behavioral signals. No, I'm sorry. Yes, 9% from the Google Business Profile, 7 from the personalization, 7 from citation signals, 6 from review signals. So largely around 62% of the signals coming from your website have to do with your local organic ranking. So that is why you want to make sure your website is performing well. Now we're going to go on to the next section, Google Business Profile. And here is another extremely powerful tool that many shops are not utilizing to its fullest at all. Let's just talk a little bit about setting it up correctly, first of all, and then we'll talk, I got a few tips on some of the tools that you can be utilizing. Make sure you get your shop in the correct category, in the correct business category. You want to be in the auto body shop. You don't want to be in the, now it slips my mind, I think it is the car repair category. I don't think I quite have that wording right, but whatever the case, that one's for the mechanic shops. You want to be in the auto body shop one. And another tool you can use is right here in the description section. Make sure that's filled out with including the main keyword phrases that you want to be ranking for, but don't just stuff it with keywords. Make sure it's written where potential customers can actually read it and it makes sense. And down at the bottom, you can add your social channels. I believe that's down at the, when you're filling out your business information. All right, now we're getting into a few of the tools that Google includes on your Google Business Profile. And you may not even know your shop has this option, but in here, there is a question and answer section. And what often happens is you get these random questions, like somebody saying, how much does it cost to paint my 98 Civic front bumper cover? And it just sits there. Well, guess what? You don't need to wait for some random stranger to come out with that question there. You can actually go in and ask your own questions and answer your own questions. So here again, do some keyword research and then very strategic about the questions you're asking. Like, I got an example here. Do I need to take my wrecked car to the, okay, see this collision repair shop, very strong keyword phrase right there. My insurance recommend. And of course, if you're an independent shop and you have no DRP, this is a great one for you. You can go in and you can answer that question and you can say, no, in the state of California, there are laws protecting you as a consumer. You can take your car to whatever collision repair shop or whatever auto body shop you would like and you trust. So very good tool here that I don't see being used. Almost never do I see this being used. Here is tip number 3. Here again, another very powerful tool that you can use. It's called the post update section on here. It's basically like you can use it like a Facebook page. You can post updates here 10 times a day if you like. I would recommend maybe a few times a week. And here again, be very strategic around what keyword phrases you're using, upload a picture and post it there. And here again, sending lots of signals to Google and also providing a good user experience for people that land here. They like to see those pictures, a little description about what's going on. All right, we are at tip number 4, adding information to your shop's Google business profile. So this one, I have never seen done. Actually, I shouldn't say that. But I think it's being a little creative, is actually turning your services basically into a product and using the product section and pretty much putting together packages. Do you need to put pricing on them? Absolutely not. But here again, you're sending signals to Google as far as what you want to be ranking for, using the product section to sell your services. And tip number 5, this is the one that everybody talks about. And it is important, but it's not the holy grail to local search engine optimization. But like I said, it's the one that everybody talks about. Collecting your Google reviews, maybe just a few tips to doing that is actively be asking, or maybe you have software that automatically sends text messages, emails to customers about leaving you Google reviews, but really become intentional about it and then be sure to reply. That sends signals to Google, plus it builds a very strong trust with potential customers that are landing there when they see you replying to all of the reviews. And guess what? When you get a bad review, the way you handle that situation is going to affect potential customers that are looking at your reviews, because I hear it time and time again from people that they actually go and check out the negative reviews because they want to see how the owner replied to it. So take that opportunity to write a very professional reply and be very authentic and genuine and empathetic and try to resolve the issue. I'll bet you money you're going to get customers coming through your door just from those replies. Now, that is aside from search engine optimization. Now I'm back to this little graph here again, and let's look at the left-hand portion of this graph. This is having to do with your ranking factors for the local pack, the local map ranking. And as you can see, it's different than the one on the right. 32% comes from the Google Business Profile signals. So all those things like Q&As, post updates, reviews, pictures, all of those are signals that are coming from your Google Business Profile. And then 19 is on page, which is from the website. 16% is coming from the reviews. So remember, reviews are important, but they're not the only part of the puzzle. 11 is website, 8 and 8% behavioral. That could be coming from your Google Business Profile, depending how people are interacting with it. And 7% is citation, which would be website based, 6% from personalization. So we have roughly around 56% signals coming from your Google Business Profile in the local search, in the local map search. So that is why you want to work on that. So if maybe you're seeing a bit of a pattern here, I would say you have basically 2 pillars in your local search engine optimization. It's your website and it's your Google Business Profile. You want to work on both of those pillars, and working on those at the same time and tying them together as much as you can builds a strong, robust local SEO strategy. All right, let's go into Facebook. I don't have many tips here. This is largely a little bit about filling out your account information. I guess one of the ones that I do want to point out to you is putting in your service area, and I believe that's that top arrow that I have pointing there is to the service area. Make sure you fill in all the service areas that you cover. So if you're, like I said before, if you're in a small town, maybe you're serving other areas out around your town, be sure to enter them in there just to get some geo referencing on Facebook as to what you're serving. And then another thing I would encourage is trying to get a few Facebook reviews. Not a high priority, but it is great to have a few good ones sitting there. Tip number 2 is posting some original content a few times a week. I know that can be kind of tough to do. Here's just some ideas. Don't worry about getting that picture perfect photo. Maybe, be a little strategic. Probably maybe sweep the floor, try to have the shop looking as good as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect though. People like those authentic, genuine photos of your facility, of your staff. And what I see working the best is definitely pictures that have people in them. People like to see other people working on their cars or calling out team members saying, hey, this person's worked for us for 10 years. This is what they like to do when they're not at the shop. Those kinds of posts get so much engagement. Call out your team, hold up whatever they're really good at, maybe some before and after photos of cars. And another one that you can use for education purposes, especially, is if you go on the SCRS, so the Society of Collision Repair Specialists, their YouTube channel, they have a lot of really good consumer videos that are free for you to use. And I'll just put a little plug in right here. If your shop is not a member of the SCRS, go sign up today. It is well worth it. You'll get some good things from that. All right. I think I've got a couple things here on Yelp. Even if you don't use Yelp, I don't know what your thoughts are on Yelp. I don't personally use Yelp, but the reason that I would suggest claiming your shop, your business on Yelp and spending a little bit of time working on it is, as you can see on this screenshot, I searched for collision repair shop near me, and I believe, where was I doing that? In Houston, Texas, it looks like. And the top website that ranked below the local map search was Yelp. So even if you're not a big fan of it, I would highly suggest you take advantage of that because Yelp does have a lot of ranking authority with Google. Here's just a couple tips. So you can just go in there, you can claim your free business listing. I would say add some great photos, and it would be worth your while to collect, let's say, 10, 15 5-star reviews in the Yelp infrastructure, just so you have a good looking presence there on Yelp, because there are people that use it. And I think that was my only tip for Yelp. I have one tip here for CarWise. So here again, basically the same thing. You will find if you do a search across the nation for something like collision repair shop near me, about in any city that you're in, you will have CarWise showing up. Maybe not at the top, because as you can see here, it looks like we had Yelp at the top again, and then we have Caliber, and we have CarWise. So if you're a CC1 user, make sure to claim your CarWise profile and add pictures, just build it out again, and probably try to collect some reviews there as well. I will say the Google reviews are worth more from an SEO standpoint than the CarWise reviews are. But that's my advice there for CarWise. And got a couple tips here for Google pay-per-click campaigns. I'll just say this right up front. Google Ads, Google pay-per-click campaigns are super complex. This is by far nothing. This is not much from what you're going to need to know how to run one of these successfully. I'm basically touching on like some of the really, really high level points here. So if you're spending, let's say you're spending $2,500 to $5,000 per month on a Google Ads campaign, you really want to optimize it for your ROI. And step number one to good ROI is keyword research. So before you ever even launch the campaign, make sure you do your keyword research, whether you're using the keyword planner that Google gives you in the Google Ads infrastructure, or whether you're using another tool outside of Google's infrastructure. Make sure you're doing that keyword research. Also, make sure you're checking out the negative keywords. So something like, I see I've got an example here for cheap bumper repair. So if you're spending, let's say $15 per click in your city, you really don't want to be showing up when somebody searches for cheap bumper repair near me. So make sure to set up all the negative keywords that you don't want to be displayed for or ranked for when you set up your Google Ads. And tip number two is just be sure to track some more how the campaign is going. I know it probably sounds dumb to even say this, but really that is quite important. Obviously, track what's going on. Maybe it's things like setting up a custom landing page that you're driving people to from your Google Ads campaign. Maybe it's setting up a call tracking phone number. Maybe it's form tracking on your landing page, on your website to see how many form fill outs are we getting from this campaign, because you really want to start seeing what's the ROI rather than just throwing money at it and not being sure what you're generating. All right, so we went through a lot of very practical things. I hope there's a few things that you were able to take away from it. And you don't need to answer this question out loud, but what area do you want to focus on first? What do you think is the lowest hanging fruit for your vision shop? What do you think is going to be the thing that you're going to tackle first? So I'd like you just to think about that for a moment. And as you're starting to strategize for your 2025 online marketing plan, what are you going to tackle first? And lastly, now kind of the last little section here, I've got a few slides. Where do you want, just taking you back, where do you want to go in 2025? What's the number of ROs per month? And why do you want to do that? And then, of course, does your online marketing strategy support your long-term vision and goals? If it doesn't, you're going to have to rethink your online marketing strategy. If it's doing what you need it to do, then perfect. Just dial it up. Let's say it's working really well what you're doing now, and you want to add another 500,000 annual revenue. Well, look at the data and then dial up your online marketing strategy accordingly. All right, I see I've got a slide here for your top action items. Here again, what are the things that you're going to tackle first? Maybe it's Google Ads. Maybe it's your organic search engine optimization for your local area. And what would it mean to you? So this is here again, a psychological question. What would it mean to you if you were able to hit these goals in 2025? And just ponder that for a moment. And maybe you are like, wow, I am overwhelmed. I need some help to dig into this deeper. I have one offer that I'm going to make to you. I'm not going to try to sell you anything, but this is my offer to you today is if you want to dig deeper into this, just scan that QR code and set up a free strategy session with me where we can chat about your situation, talk about where you want to go with your shop, and look at what you're doing. I'll run some reports to see how your shop is ranking locally, look into what you're doing, and help you build a strategy for 2025. That's my offer today is, do you want to take this to the next step? Alrighty, guys. Well, any questions? I know there's just a couple of you here live. Any questions for me? You can feel free to unmute yourself. I've shared everything I have to share today. If there are no questions, that's okay too. Well, both Diane and Sean, you know how to get a hold of me. You've got my information. So if you want to chat more, just hit me up. And anybody that's listening to this recording, definitely feel free to sign up for a consultation. Happy to walk you through that. And you can find my contact information on our website, which is www.bodyshotmarketing.io. And yeah, I hope you gained some value from today and can take some things away to help grow your shop. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and we'll hopefully catch you at another time. Take care.